Hi folks, and welcome to another installment of Stupid Pedal Tricks with Jimmy Photon. Today's installment is a attractive little device that I like to call the buzztain. It's a dirty bad pedal, which is what I call all these little weird things that I mess around with and create. See, DBFX, don't rip me off, because if you do, karma's a bitch. And anyways, this here is a ripoff, speaking of ripoffs, of a pedal from the mid-60s called the Burns Buzzaround that was made in England. This is a little different. It's really more of a buzz than a fuzz. Buzz is much ruder sounding than a fuzz. It's almost like doing a Bronx cheer as opposed to just, puffing air through your lips. This one here, rather than make it as the original was, which was a PNP, or positive ground circuit, I made this one NPN, which is a negative ground circuit. I had to use different transistors, which meant that I had to really mess with the circuit to get things to bias right and stuff. It was important to try and make it so that it would still sound like the buzzaround when I wanted to, but I couldn't get the NPN transistors, especially modern silicone ones, tend to have a lot more gain than the older, germanium ones. So anyways, what I ended up doing was, the front of this is pretty much stock, other than what I named it, Voice kind of controls the tone of it. Balls, of course, is intestinal fortitude. And sing is how much sustain there is. But the problem I was having was it buzzed like a son of a gun, but there was no sustain. And I should notice the volume is way down because this thing's loud as hell. So what I ended up doing was I replaced the 470K resistor to ground that was basically feeding the B plus voltage to the second and third transistor, I guess. And I added a 500K pot in its place so I could try and vary the bias voltage to control the sustain of the signal. I messed around by also adding a diode clipper to it. If you search around on Google, you'll find, Google up the buzztain, you'll find it. One of the do-it-yourself effect forums, okay? But basically, it's got a diode clipper that's part germanium and part silicone in there. There's a little treble bleed cap, just a little bit more of the fizzy through because I thought it needed it. And about 200 Ks of resistance between ground and the pot. And the pot itself is a 500K pot, and it's paralleled with a 100K resistor. Actually, I built everything right onto this because I had already built the board inside before I realized that I needed to mess around with the bias. Okay, so this one here, I call it, for lack of a better word, a bias clipper. Let's see what it sounds like. I'm going to start with the volume way down, the voice full blast, and the sing full blast. Then we'll put the bias clipper about halfway up. Alright? We'll turn it on. Again, cheap-ass generic Stratocaster thing. Little lights on, see? A little green light here, see? There you go. Alright? Let's give it a little volume. Treble pickup. There you go. It's buzzy. Listen to the fade. Here it just kind of buzzes out to nothing. The gains on these transistors were just through the roof. I mean, I never really figured, sat down and thought about it, but it was like this ended up with a gain of about 220 in the first transistor, around 3.5, 350, I mean, in the second transistor, and the third transistor had a gain of like 900, I think. I socket everything so that, on the circuit board so that I can play around with values later to find out what it is I like. But I used to have a UMI buzz tone back in the 70s and early 80s. And actually, it's funny, I was talking with one of the guys on the Do-It-Yourself Stompboxes forum, Lucifer's Trip, about it. And he's a big fan of them buzz tones too. They sound different from a fuzz. Here, let me show you. I mean, quarterly. very compressed, very fuzzy. But when you play it leads, it's a completely different kind of sound from a regular fuzz. I mean, it's a buzz. And that's like... that's about unity gain. It gets loud. To the point where it, like, probably damages the amplifier. I like that. Amplifier damage. Where the hell is the amplifier damage? Can be a good thing. Alright, so let's play with it a little bit. For a little bit more volume. Now we're going to bring in the control on the side here. First I'm going to turn it all the way down, and I'm going to sweep it so you can hear what it does. It's subtle. More sustained when it's cranked. And it fades out smoother. When it's all the way down, it's buzzier. And it fades out quicker. Right about in the middle, you can find sweet spots. Where you can pretty much make it do whatever you want. That's the bridge pickup. Now the neck pickup's a completely different animal. Dig this. We're in like Black Sabbath territory here. Particularly on the, you know? But dig it. Neck pickup. And by the way, this thing doesn't care about your volume knob. Your volume knob is like a suck knob. When it's all the way up, it sounds good. You start turning it down. You can start getting Mario Brothers sounds out of it. Barely on. Most fuzzes, if they're barely on, sound crystal clear and beautiful. Not a buzzbox. But to me, the magic comes from when you go for the woman tone. You know, keep your volume knob up all the way. Roll your tone knob down. Listen. Doesn't sustain as good, but boy, what a... Those pickups on. tone control about halfway up on the guitar. And turn the voice down on the fuzz. Rude, huh? Alright, turn that back up. And turn the sing control down. That's the sustain. It actually, you can cut the thing completely off. Turn it up about halfway. Very gated fuzz. Reminds me of some of Tim Escobedo's things. I like it cranked. The voice cranked. And the diode grouper cranked. It's very friendly to reverb, and because it's a 60s pedal, obviously, and delay. So anyways, if you decide to build one of these things, Google's your friend. You'll find my layout and schematic and all that crap for it. As usual, one stupid pedal, the Dirty Bad Buzztain, cheap-ass, generic Stratocaster variant, and I'm Jimmy Photon. Peace.